Now, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to show you what happens when John Smith at alfasi.ca logs in for the first time. All right, so the first thing that you'll note is that John Smith is required to change the password. And the reason for that is that the password was sent also to his manager. So it's no longer really considered a secure password if there's more than one person that has it. So he has to change his password by putting in the old password, and then he's going to put in a new password. Again, note the requirement for the password is now met as we have the green character here. So note here that I actually mistyped the confirmation of the password. It's just that the two passwords are not matching, and that's why I'm getting the red interface over here. I'm going to retype the password and then click save, and the password is now saved. And now I'm prompted for the password again for John Smith, since it just changed. And John Smith is now in the Office 365 user portal, where from here he'll have the ability to install and download Office. He will also have the ability to use the web-based or online-based versions of the Office client application. For example, if I click on the Outlook icon above, I am then prompted to save a time zone so it knows exactly where I am, and we'll open up the Outlook web app, which is a web-based version of the Outlook client email application. So now we see that John Smith, being a user, does not have the admin option that was available for me when I logged on earlier. Clicking on John Smith here, because John Smith is also a Lync user, he has status information that's available right here. So I'm going to quickly sign out of John Smith and log back in to my account. So John Smith has logged in, and if I click on my active users, I can see him right here. In his properties, I want to show you one option that's very important over here under his settings, is that you'll note that John Smith is not an administrator, and all users by default are not administrators. Now I can assign John Smith an administrative role. Notice under his assign role, I click on yes, and I've got the list of available administrator roles. As you noted earlier, I pointed out that my account was a global administrator. Global administrator means that I can do anything and everything that I want within my Office 365 infrastructure. Billing administrator is somebody that can see service requests or problems with the current deployment, and that can also purchase or modify your subscription. So you want to go from an Enterprise E1 to an Enterprise E3, which are different levels of subscriptions. The bill administrator will be able to do that. A password administrator is an administrator that can only reset passwords, but he can also view service requests or problems with the current infrastructure. So typically that may be somebody that works in your help desk, somebody that's been delegated that role to just manage user passwords. A service administrator is an administrator that can only view service and status information, as well as all the users in your organization. So this would be somebody that would just be in charge of viewing the configuration or information that you have within your Office 365 deployment. He can't actually modify anything. User management administrator, as the title says it pretty well, is somebody that can manage users, create users within your organization. They'll also be able to reset passwords. So I can pick one of these roles. For example, I can provide to John Smith the right to be a password administrator. And then when he'll log into his Office 365 portal, he will see the admin option, be able to go into Office 365, and then be able to manage the passwords of various users. He'll see all the other configuration, but won't be able to manage anything else. These are the administrator roles within Office 365. Note that there are other administrator roles as well, but those ones are Exchange, Lync, or SharePoint administrator roles. They're not roles that affect your entire Office 365 deployment. They are other roles that affect Exchange only, SharePoint only, or Lync only configuration options.